You know, there's a lot of things that the pandemic took away from us. The chance to hang out with family and friends, the chance to gather at a restaurant, the chance to go listen to concerts and see live music. But some of that is over. We're beginning to move beyond it. Now we've got a chance to eat cotton candy and play games and ride rides. It's not what it was, but it's coming back. We're going to show you a little bit of what's happening at the Wayne County 4-H Fair. Welcome to In Focus at the Fair. Welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're outside, thank goodness, having a chance to talk to Sandy House, president of the Wayne County Fair Board. Sandy, we get a chance to talk to you every year. We didn't last year, so I'm glad we're able to do this again. Thanks for taking the time with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Talk about what it was like for you all to start making preparations last year, because the fair ends and you all are immediately into the next year. So 2019, 2020 ended and you all started planning the fair. COVID hit. What happened?
Well, of course, we had to just cancel most of the fair. They was able to have the 4-H kids be able to exhibit their projects last year virtually and in person. It was just a really reduced thing, and everybody was great. They got to at least show their projects off to at least their family and friends. And so then we had to take over and just kind of laid low for a while, trying to decide what we wanted to do. And about 100 days before the fair is when we could actually decide, yes, I think we can make it happen for the 2021.
What was that conversation like amongst the board? What kind of things were you all having to consider? What kind of things did you all decide maybe we're not going to be able to touch this year?
Well, we have a fair committee, and we met, and it was a vote by everybody of what kind of challenges are we going to meet, and can we make that happen safely? And thank goodness things opened up a lot more than what they were 100 days ago, so that has helped tremendously. But we did reduce a few items, such as we didn't have the commercial vendors for the fact of having all those tents and enclosed areas where people may go down, sit down and sell a product or shake your hand and things like that. So some things have been scaled back a little bit, but of course we wanted to make sure we kept the food, because you can't have a fair without fair food.
What's a fair without food?
So those, you know, they could meet the health guides regulations, and so we were able to have the food. But next year we'll be able to have everything back, we believe. We reduced some activities such as no frog jumping this year. Kind of joke as we wanted to protect our frogs.
Sure.
You know, no kissing the frogs. I know they're irresistible, so we just decided we just wouldn't even put anybody in that position. So, you know, things like those things we backed off of, but we're able to have the live entertainment as we have always had, and the track events.
Okay. You've gotten through, as we record this, and we're recording this Monday morning, we've gone through kind of the first week or full weekend of the fair. What's the turnout been like? What's the feeling been from the kids being back with their animals in the pen? Talk a little bit about, because Steve and I walked up and we're going, it's a little more quiet than normal. Yeah,
it is right now, but it's we've had a great weekend. And I'm expecting today to really take off on Monday here, and the kids are excited, the animals look great. Project numbers are down this year, but I think that's just due to people who were still uncertain of what we were going to be able to do, and if we could have a live fair, or if it was going to be virtual only, you know. So I understand that, but it's important that those kids get a chance to complete their 10 years if they're 10-year members, and to complete their projects so they can continue to grow in the 4-H program.
I know the Queen Committee was able to hold a contest this year. That was important for them to be able to do, but like you, they were kind of doing a little dancing as to where and how.
Yeah, it's been everybody's been flexible, and we appreciate everybody's patience. This is just the year that things you're gonna have to twist and turn and make it fit the puzzle. I always just say it's kind of like that puzzle piece, and sometimes you just got to work a little harder to get it to go in there, but eventually you'll get it together and it'll turn out really good.
Talk a little bit about what you expect this week to be like. We're seeing this on Thursday evening, the full part, but talk a little bit about how you expect this week to be, what you expect to see, knowing that there aren't the commercial vendors and maybe some of the numbers will be down.
I think we will have, the gates have been good for our food vendors, and they've all been happy, so that's always important, but I expect it to be really good. I think people will have fun if they come out, and honestly, we put so much into the fair that sometimes you can't get to all the activities that are going on, so it's almost more of a relaxed atmosphere, because I think we feel like we've got it to where we can actually sit and relax and see the things and enjoy the things that we've missed. It makes you take a step back and go, wow, this is why we do it, compared to running so hard and not getting to enjoy it. So,
talk a little bit about what people will be able to see and won't be able to see as you go into the final weekend. You've talked about some of the projects not being here. Normally people, and I always encourage people to come out to the Coleman Center and really take a look at the work that the 4-Hers have done. A lot of people think about the fair, they think about the food, they think about the rides, they see the animals. Sometimes they don't step into the Coleman Center and see the kind of work that goes on there. And
they are missing, if they don't go see the inside projects, they're missing a big part of this, because they do need to remember that it's not all animal projects, that there's so many skills that's learned, life skills, and the baking and the sewing and the Legos and collections and scrapbooking and ceramics and woodworking and photography. It goes on and on. There is a project out there for every kid to do. But unfortunately this year we didn't know, because of the things that were going on, that we would have the Coleman Center available until just about a couple weeks ago. So those projects will not be available on Friday either. And all the animals will be gone by Thursday evening, or the majority of them. Right. So there will be less to enjoy as far as that goes, but there'll still be plenty to see, and we've got a great lineup on the stage and the track. So
talk a little bit about what's going to be on the stage and what people will be able to see on the track as you head into the last weekend. Okay,
on the stage on Friday is Brother Walker. They were actually on The Voice. They've been to this area a couple times. Great entertainers. It's a set of twin guys, and that they just put on a really good show. And then on the track, of course, we've got our mud bog, and that's always fun to see who can make it through the pit. And then on Saturdays, the demo derby, and it should be a good demo derby. I'm pretty sure those guys are really ready to smash some cars up.
With the rain we've been having, shouldn't have any problem having a mud bog.
No, and people got to remember, my track guys are phenomenal. They do dirt work for a living. They understand, and this track has been A+ shape. Most of the time they can get it ready.
Talk a little bit about the fair board, the makeup of it, and a little bit about what you all have had to do over the last year and a half to make sure that the youth in this community were able to continue getting the programs in, getting the work in, working with their projects, things of that nature. This is important for a lot of kids. I've had a chance to talk to Alicia. There've been 900 plus kids in 4-H, and the numbers haven't been dwindling. The numbers have been going up. Yeah. So what you all have been able to do is important. So talk about that group of people and what it's taken to get to this point.
Well, they are a phenomenal group. They have all got heart. We bleed green. We bleed the 4-H green, and that's why we do it, is for these kids and the community, not only just the 4-H kids, but we want it to be a community event. It's all volunteers. None of us take a dime for this. And most of us have been together for over 20 years. And it's a lot of hard work. It starts now for next year. So it's a year's planning. A lot of us, lose our family time with our own family. But most of us, the family, come out here and join us. So they're all involved too. But, a lot of us have small businesses that we are running, and it does take a hit, but it's so worth it. If you could only see what a lot of the past 4-H members are doing in this county. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have great housewives, we have lawyers, we have, military. We've had some of the highest ranking military folks. We've had the head of the FBI come from right here in Wayne County, 4-H, not only the doctors, the ones that have invented knee replacements, and one, as far as the 4-H side goes, embryo transplant, for dairy cattle, one of the leading embryo transplants on dairy. So Wayne County has an incredible history of producing some really great community people, and we try to get them to come back and give back that way too. So, well, we're quite proud of Wayne County 4-H members.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're spending some time with Sandy House, president of the Wayne County Board. Are you all looking for more members? Are you all looking for more volunteers? Can you all always use more help?
Yes, we'll take your help. Come. I was thinking I'm getting ready to hop on a mower, and I think that's maybe one of the jobs I've never done over here. But most generally, I think I've just done about everything. So we'll take anybody to, as long as they're good with youth and they have the right heart. That's what we're looking for. And when you say the board, we're the committee. There is a 4-H board above me, and that's Alicia that runs that with the extension, and they are voted on. In our circumstances, there's not any votes. If you can pass the background check and are willing, then we would be willing to talk to you. We have meetings most generally once a month. We'll take a couple months off here, and everybody just kind of has their own way, and that's one great thing about, I'll think, oh yeah, I didn't get this done, and I'll go and it's done, because we've been doing it all together for so long that everybody's got each other's back, and it'll just be done. It's like a magic wand sometimes over here, or at least we sure try.
Talk a little bit about your background, because one of the things that I found in spending time out here through the years is how much 4-H really affects people, affects families, and I think yours is one of those.
Oh, absolutely. I showed in Horse and Pony as a 4-H member, and of course then my kids did, and I have a past 4-H queen, and they're both here and still willing to give back. They've been leaders and directors, and it is the family value, the fun that you can have, the skills that you can learn, the communication skills are second to none in my opinion, and what money better spent than your kids in the barn, if you've got one of those barns, or your kids in the house doing their project, and you don't have to worry. I mean, I am positive it impacted my life and kept me from running to town and maybe getting into things that I shouldn't have. So it's money well spent. I've heard that over and over of, the initial shock of, oh my gosh, it's what for that horse? But I've heard over many times it's the best money they've ever spent.
As we come to the final week of the fair, I'm gonna give you the floor. What do you want the community to know? Invite them out, whatever you feel like you need to say.
Well, we appreciate the support. The kids appreciate the support. Be patient with us. We all are volunteers. We do make mistakes, but we'll sure try our best to get it correct. The carnival's local. We appreciate that. We are very fortunate here to have a carnival, because there's so many fairs. I'm involved in the state association that covers all the fairs. And we are blessed, beyond blessed, when you hear the stories that go on at some of the other fairs. This is a wonderful fairgrounds. We appreciate the sponsors, the community sponsors, the government that helps sponsor this. Just come out and enjoy it. If you've not been here, come take a look. You're missing it. You really are.
Sandy House, Wayne County 4-H Fair Committee. Always, we appreciate the time. Thank you for the work and effort that you and the rest of the committee put in.
Oh, thank you guys for having us.
We'll be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
I've always done swine and rabbits and photography, and this year I've done health also, so I'm probably going to stick to that.
I really enjoy 4-H and all the people because they're just so nice to all the diverse people. It's just a really fair society. The 4-H fair has a really good name.
I enjoy the animals the most because I always think they're like funny and sometimes they can be cute, and they're just, even though they can be messy and frustrating sometimes, I like them more because of that.
I was a 10-year member in 4-H and started continuing it when our kids started in it, so I guess I've been around it for at least 15 years, and real good experience. Teaches the kids a lot of different things that maybe like sports or something like that doesn't teach them. That's what I'd say, a good work ethic.
Welcome back to In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We talked about the fair portion of the Wayne County 4-H Fair. Let's talk about the 4-H portion of the Wayne County 4-H Fair. She's been with us on In Focus before, Alicia Criswell, Purdue Extension. Thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
I know that this is a busy week. We are recording this on Monday, so things really started last week. Talk about how things started and get us up to this point.
Yeah, so I think most people, think of the Wayne County 4-H Fair as a week. For us, it's very much 2 weeks. So last week was judging for our non-walking projects. So that's all the projects that are in the Coleman Center. And we've got roughly 1,500 projects in there.
Wow, still that many?
Still that many, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Talk about what some of those projects are that the kids have been working on, because if people haven't had a chance to go in there and look, they may not realize the incredible selection that kids get to participate in.
I agree. So I think a lot of people, when they think of 4-H, the non-walking projects, they think of baked goods, they think of sewing, but we literally have a project A to Z. So there's 65 options in the Coleman Center.
Wow, okay, I didn't know there were that many.
There are that many. We have a new project this year, restoration, which is taking something old, and it can be a full restoration, it can be a partial restoration, and the youth work with a mentor to restore an item to its whatever condition it was. So it may be a musical instrument, it may be a photo, a family photo. We have a truck in there, which is really cool, in the Coleman Center this year.
It was dark. I thought I saw a vehicle.
You did. There's a whole vehicle in there this year. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so we had a young man who worked with a mentor. Forgive me, I'm not good with years, but it's a very early model Chevy truck, and he is restoring that back to its original shape.
Cool.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what it's been like, the transition between last year, this year, and getting the kids to this point, because I know last year for some, a little bit disappointing. They weren't able to show the way they normally do.
Right.
And then there was always a little hesitation on everybody's part as to what was going to happen this year.
And we weren't ever, really sure until I'd say about 2 months ago. We had a pretty clear, I feel like, understanding of where we would be now. But even then, you can't predict, where things are going to go with protocols and numbers up and down. But thankfully, thanks to the Wayne County Health Department and the efforts of a whole lot of people, we've been able to keep our numbers low here as far as COVID goes, and really open things back up. So we still have those 4-H families who I think even, 6 weeks ago thought, we'll see if this really happens. But for our families, as excited as they were to have a normal fair where their livestock come in, and they do their shows, they stay all week, which is the format we're back to, the camping. The question was, but can we camp? But can we camp? They are such a community,
sure.
and such a family, and that's really, a neat part about this program. And so, I don't know how many hundreds of campers we have over there, but it's a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
You've talked about there actually being a new project this year. You've also been working over the last few years to really raise the numbers, and the numbers of kids have continued to go up. Talk about how that has worked out. Talk about whether COVID kind of put a tamp down on that, and what you're hoping to get back next year, because I know people are excited to have the fair back this year, but they know it's in a limited form. It should probably explode next year.
Oh, we hope so, right? Like, I wish I had a crystal ball, but we sure hope so. So numbers across, as far as 4-H goes, are down this year, but we can attribute, we know where those numbers are coming from, and almost 100% of them are in school clubs, or after school 4-H clubs, and the schools couldn't let us in this year, and we totally understand that, and are hopeful that we can get back in this upcoming school year and get those clubs built back up. So I anticipate that for 2022, we'll be back to our 2019 numbers, and hopefully, continue then upward growth from there.
I know you've reached out and you talked about the schools, and for some people who aren't familiar with 4-H, and I've talked in the past that I didn't grow up with 4-H, they may not realize that 4-H is in the schools. They may not realize that you work with the Boys and Girls Clubs. Talk about some of the outreach that you're doing to make 4-H accessible to even more kids in the Wayne County area.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have worked with all of the school systems in Wayne County, and pre-COVID we were doing some sort of programming in all of those schools. The majority of it was STEM programming, so science, technology, engineering, and math. But we also offer several different programs in healthy living and citizenship and leadership as well. And then the Boys and Girls Club, and we're super excited because they just opened the new club at Townsend, and so we're already looking forward to that experience. But we have a 4-H club in each of the Boys and Girls Clubs in Wayne County, with the exception of Hagerstown. And logistically, that one just kind of works out sort of funny, and we have other clubs that we can accommodate those youth in Hagerstown. But we've got one at the Central Boys and Girls Club, the Jeffers Boys and Girls Club, and the McDaniels unit. And we're going to hopefully have one at Townsend this next year.
Talk about some of the things that those kids get to do. Obviously, some of them find a way to do the walking
They sure
animals,
do.
but a lot of them don't. So talk about the difference and what those kids that grew up a little bit more urban learn from doing that walking animal type of thing.
So we try to do a minimum of 3 projects with those kiddos, and they have all rights and privileges of any other Wayne County 4-H'er. So they get their pass to come out to the fair for the week, and they each this year have 3 projects in the Coleman Center. They have recycling, wearable arts, and electric. Those are judged the same as any other, 4-H kiddo. They earn the same awards, and it's really neat for those families to get to come out to the fair, see how their children are participating, and then it's like this door opens, right? So it's like, oh my goodness, look at all these other options that we can do at home then too. So those youth are each able to bring the projects that we do at the club here to the fair, and as you said, a lot of doors open then to those youth where, they might get involved with our dog project or our rabbit project. So it's been a really great way to get those more urban and suburban youth involved.
Talk about how people, once the fair is over, have a chance to be able to connect with you or other 4-H leaders and find out more about the program.
Absolutely. So our office is located on the north side of the Coleman Center on the Wayne County Fairgrounds. We are available for walk-ins, so folks are more than welcome to come in and talk to us. We love to have a conversation. Sometimes I think that face-to-face conversation is a lot easier for a family who's exploring 4-H as an option. They're also welcome to give us a call at the Extension office, and that number is 765-973-9281. And then we have a website that is extension.purdue.edu/Wayne. And they can find our email addresses. I know, I always have to try to sort of think through that too. All of our email addresses are available there, and we'd love to welcome them in.
I like the green nails for 4-H week.
Always. My nail tech is great. She knows it's coming every year, and she's got that bottle ready.
Alicia Crispell, Purdue Extension. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Eric.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Still hanging out at the Wayne County 4-H Fair, just walking around ambushing people. Hey, want to talk? Yeah. Ran into Tim Pearson. Tim, I had met very briefly. You came into the studio a while ago.
Yeah.
Had a conversation about Bridges for Life, which is the organization you work for. Tell us a little bit about that. I know that's why you're not here,
right?
But tell us a little bit about that organization.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bridges for Life is a nonprofit organization here in town, and we're a social services organization. So, in a nutshell, what we do is we try to help families that are in situations where they need some extra support and try to help them get connected to different resources that they need. So we develop partnerships with providers in the community and kind of represent kind of the warm handoff for families when they're trying to get some help and get some support. And so we meet with them regularly and then try to make those connections for them.
How has that been going?
It's been going good. Last year we had to shift the gear a little bit with COVID, of course.
Sure.
So we did a quarantine care package program where we provided families with care packages that were stuck at home for the 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of used that as a connect point, and now we're doing follow-up with those families to see what other needs that maybe that they have. And then we're beginning soon another program where we're trying to be getting back into clients' homes and talking to them and trying to do a little bit long-term relationship stuff with them. So yeah, it's been going really good. And we have a Friday night meal program that we feed folks, 70 to 90 folks each Friday night. So we meet people through that venue as well. So, but yeah, it's been busy. It's been good.
What's that program like? Is that just open to the community? How do people find out about that?
For the meal program?
Meal program.
Yeah, we do that. Our location, we're housed in the Reed Memorial Presbyterian Church building.
Okay.
So that's where our office is at. There's no active membership there, so we're just a tenant in the building, but we use that space. And so far this year, we've been doing still the meals kind of as a hand carry out.
Right.
We're not back in the building yet, but hopefully soon. But yeah, we do that, and then we have groups that come out to help us. Some of these same students that are out here with Drug Free are part of our group that come and help us on Friday nights to feed folks and pack meals for them. So yeah, so we have different levels of age groups that come and help us each Friday. So it's really good. It's really good.
Nice. Tell us what you're here for. Committed to Community is the shirts that I'm seeing around.
Yes,
Talk
exactly.
about that.
There's the logo. So Drug Free Wayne County has been around the community since '87 or so. Been around here a long time. Has a very strong adult membership group of over 120 people. But one of the things that we lack is youth involvement in prevention efforts. That's been something we've just not had here in Wayne County for a long while. Mm-hmm. So within the last year and a half or two, our focus has been on developing student-led prevention groups. So our ultimate goal is to establish a school-based group at each of the 5 county high schools and ultimately middle schools as well. But the focus right now is on each county high school. So our first one that we started with was RHS. So at Richmond, we worked directly with Stephanie Baker and Josh Amix, the assistant principals there, and they helped us to recruit a group of students. We have about 18, and these students, we meet with them every few weeks, meet with them there at the school, and they plan different types of activities and pro-social activities for students to be involved in. The biggest of which they did here a number of weeks back, about 5 weeks back, was a big dodgeball event that we did out at Glen Miller. And we had over 100 students come out and play, and we gave away Kings Island season passes, and it was a blast. So, nice. But the key with the events is that the students are leading the way in building the ideas, doing the planning. They did the social media, they got on the radio and did the promotion about it.
Okay.
They were doing the advertising. So it's a partnership, but the idea is that they're really leading the effort. And so they have 3 or 4 other events that are planned for this summer. We're out at Elstro Plaza during the food truck Wednesdays and the live music. We'll be out there every Wednesday from 11 to 2 with games and activities all summer. They got a movie night coming up here this Thursday night. Of course, we're out here today and then they've got a big field day coming up in July out at Clear Creek. So today we're out here because that group, along with some others, are out here just to kind of spread the word about who the group is, what they're doing, and they got some flyers to hand out that have the activities on it. Okay. And then they can win some prizes and stuff too for coming by. So it's great. We're real proud of them. These are some real hard-working teens that have become excited about building some pro-social activities in the community. So it's great.
You've got an event Thursday night, and we're recording this on Monday. This is airing Thursday night at 6. So what time is your event?
It will be at dark. It'll be a movie at the park on the hill. So the students are putting that on, and the park's got movies playing all summer.
Right.
This one will be sponsored by us, and I think they're showing Jumanji 2. And so our group will be out there, and we'll have a little promo video at the beginning of the movie, and just trying to meet and greet as many students as what we can. So
if you're watching this on Thursday night, there's still time to get there.
You got about 2 or 3 hours to get out to the park, and
there you go.
It'll be great. So,
how was it recruiting students to get involved in this? Was it a difficult task? Was it an easy ask? And how did that work?
Well, it was probably at the beginning it was a little more difficult than what we thought it would be, because it's kind of a new concept, students, they maybe want to help, they're not really sure how. Mm-hmm. What really helped was when we got the partnership established with RHS, and with what Josh and Stephanie did for us was tremendous, because they really took the lead. They knew these kids, and so they knew the kids that would be good, and they picked a very diverse group of students. Some were excelling academically, some were not. Some were excelling athletically, some were not. They picked this really broad group of students. And so when they did that, they sort of hand-selected them. So when I got the list from them, we went out and met with each student, met with their families, kind of talked about what would this be like if you joined the group. And then from there, we pretty much recruited all but just a couple of them that weren't able to participate. But otherwise, we got them working. So we hope now to be able to duplicate that. We're going to be working with Northeastern and, of course, Centerville, Hagerstown, and Lincoln to try to do the same thing in those communities as well. So,
what's your time frame for trying to get the other high schools? Do you think you can do it within a year? Is this a couple-year plan?
It probably, to get it up and running, probably more of a couple-year plan, but we'd sure like to get kind of a central group, even if it's smaller, at each school established. So what's on our list right now is Lincoln and Northeastern, to have something going and up and cooking with them by the end of 2021. And so we may have to hit the other two. We're not really prioritizing in any way other than where we have some connections and where people have expressed interest in doing the same thing. But if we can duplicate it, it's great, because what a lot of people don't realize is that the real key to prevention for students, you got to have education, you got to have a lot of that stuff happening. But what you really have to have is you have to have something for them to do if you're going to tell them not to do something.
Right.
So our community has a lot of things happening. We need to have more, but there's already a lot of stuff happening that a lot of students don't engage in. So our group, C Squared, is what the Youth Coalition is called. C Squared's job is to promote pro-social activities that already exist, and then create other ones where there needs to be some other activity. It's like the dodgeball. We haven't really done a dodgeball tournament, and it was a home run. I mean, it worked great. In fact, the first responders group, the Sheriff's Department, took the lead, and in August, they're doing a first responders dodgeball tournament over at the high school on the football field. Okay. So they're putting teams together, and our Youth Coalition, C Squared, is going to be hosting that event, emceeing it, refereeing it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So it kind of, one thing will lead to another. So.
Sounds good. Sounds like you all are getting started at least.
Yeah, we're trying to get them going, and we're just super proud of the kids. So,
Tim, I appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to come over and find out what we're up to.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, sir.
So what we've got is an inverted vehicle. This one happens to be laying on the nose of another car. The situation could be that there would be occupants of both vehicles. So before the fire department can attempt to extricate anyone or send a fireman in for any kind of medical help, we need to stabilize this vehicle so that we don't have any further injury to the accident victim and we don't injure any firefighters. So these long orange struts are basically a rescue strut. It's a type of a jack that will lock into the car either in a predetermined point or we will make a point, and it will stabilize that car. So we get that jack set in there good and tight, and then we will run a strap back to the car to keep the jack against the car, and then that jack will support the weight of the vehicle. We can actually lift a car with these jacks if we position them correctly. However, for this purpose, it's better to support the vehicle. The purpose of the strap is to keep the foot of the jack from sliding away.
Sure, it's been okay.
And if you watch, the car could actually start lifting if they keep cranking. So now that car is going to be pretty stable. So on this scene, right now they are using the spreaders or jaws of life. They are run by the gasoline powered pump back in the background.
Swing it out to me.
Right now they're taking a bite of the door and pinching it out so that they can make a purchase point to be able to get the tool in so that it can start biting. The latch mechanism or the nadir pin on a vehicle is a very strong point, so you try to break that nadir pin, pull the door away from it so that you can get it open. We use these extrication exercises like this at the fair to train with other departments at the same time, and to allow for our newer firemen that aren't as experienced on the tools to become experienced. You see how strong the inner structure of that door is. It's still wanting to hang on to the latch. So they were able to remove the door. They cut the hinges and cut the latching nadir pin, which allowed access to the patient.
Hi, I'm Rick Stewart. I'm the Greens Fork Clay Township Fire Chief. Wanted to show you folks tonight our farm rescue truck. This was actually the brainchild of the past chief, Jan Riggleman. He wanted to have a truck for the community if someone was become trapped in a silo or in grain. So this truck does come, it's fully staffed for the state medical. It does have a grain bin or the Liberty tube in it. It does have an auger. We do have helmets for the person that's trapped inside there. We have the Stokes baskets. Flexible stretcher, we have lights, we do have an air monitor to go in and check the air quality inside the silo or the bin before we send any personnel in there. This truck is set up to where it will just go, we can send one person to any local fire department, and most of the county units do have the grain bins or the Liberty tubes in their equipment. We just have a truck that's set up just for that. So if we are called, we can have one driver go to take this truck, and there's SCBA and a mask in here for the one driver so the other department can work off of the truck. And our driver, we don't have to have a full crew of Greens Fork people. The other departments can work completely off of this truck. It does have the egg crates, sit down in the grain so they don't sink, so you can walk where you're at. We do have the ropes, the battery operated drill for the auger, plus the other side is the full staff medical equipment. And I think that's about it for this. It's something new. It's a one-off, so all this truck does is farm rescue, is what it's designed for, but it will run on any medical issue that we have in the area. So just happy to show this out. My folks have put a lot of work in this, a lot of time in it. Again, thanks to Jan Riggleman for starting this years ago, and thank you very much for coming out to the fair.
Anthony Smith with Centerville Fire Rescue. We brought our tanker out to the Wayne County 4-H Fair. Most people don't understand what a tanker is completely. This is a 2006 International with a rebuilt tank on the back. The tank is 2,200 gallon poly plastic tank. This truck's got the capability of shuttling 2,200 gallons of water all at once. We get out to rural fires where we don't have fire hydrants available. You're going to see multiple trucks like this hauling water to the fire scene. Unfortunately, we don't have fire hydrants way out in the country, so we really rely on tanker trucks head to the scenes. This truck can haul 3 people at a time. Typically on fire responses, we'll go with 2, and the driver will always stay with the truck. And then the other person is what we call the officer seat, passenger seat. They'll help do the initial dump of water and fill, and once that's taken care of, that person will break away and go to fireground operations, and the driver will do all the other operations on their own. Just kind of front to back on this truck. The first compartment here is mainly going to be for us at Centerville. I mean, we have some water to drink to rehab up, but traffic control devices such as cones, a place to put our gear so it's safely stored, not in the cab, so it's not a projectile if the crash, God forbid, were to crash, or if the truck were to crash. And then working backwards towards the truck is extra hoses. On a fire scene, you never can have too many hoses, so these are going to be used for filling the truck, pumping this truck into a fire engine. And then on the back side, we have a 10-inch dump. So that will dump the 2,200 gallons in just a matter of a few seconds. There are regulations by NFPA standards that we have to dump the water off of the truck within a certain amount of time. So we feel that 10 inches is going to be sufficient. We have a little pump that we can pump the truck off if we needed to. Normally we can do that in about 2 minutes. We can pump all of that water off, 2 or 3 minutes. And we should be able to fill it in about a 3-minute cycle. And then just coming to this side here is just more hoses. Once again, you never can have too many hoses. And then this big yellow thing here is called a dump tank. That will hold over 2,000 gallons of water itself that we would set up on the ground, unfold it, and it's a big square. And we just back our truck up to it, we dump our water, and the fire engine takes the water from that tank into their truck. And then just another side compartment with just miscellaneous supplies, gasoline to run the pump, obviously, and then just extra appliances to hook up to be able to suck water out of the tank and into the fire engine. Of course, we have to have a fire extinguisher on a fire truck. Like I say, it's a 2006. This truck has hauled the old tank that was on it, lived through 3 different trucks. The truck rolled once, they refurbished that tank, and it just got to a point of just beyond repair, leaks. It was more cost effective just to replace the rear end of the truck and just keep repurposing. So that is just about everything on a tanker truck that I can explain to you. And appreciate you guys' time, and hope you have a good day at the fair.
Well, I'm out here today just trying to spread the word about organ, eye, and tissue donation. We feel like it's important that we create the conversation around it, that we normalize the conversation around it, because of course it's something that we don't really talk about a lot. So we just come out to family events and share information about the importance of the gift of life.
And what exactly can people sign up to donate? What are you guys looking for?
Okay, so what we want people to do is take information and make an educated decision to register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor.
Why is it important for people to be an organ donor?
I mean, because it's over 100,000 people on the national waiting list waiting for life-saving and life-enhancing organ, eye, and tissue donation. So for every person that actually signs up, they can save and heal up to 83 lives. So it's such an important thing to do. It's so powerful. It's a legacy that you can leave that your family can be proud of. But what we really want to do is just normalize the conversation get people talking about it, because it's something we're all going to have to face one time or another.
Are there any specific organs that are in more need than others?
Right now, there's over 90,000 people that are in need of kidneys. That is probably one of the things that most people hear about because of dialysis and things like that and kidney disease. So 90,000 people, several thousand of those people are right here in the state of Indiana. So there is a great need for people to sign up. Truthfully, of all the people that sign up, due to blood matching and the size of the organ and how sick people can be, only about 1% of those people are able to actually be donors. So we want as many people to sign up because when you have that increases the amount of people that to be able to get a good match.
Perfect isn't real, and real isn't perfect.
If your roots are strong, there will be no storm too great. Thank you.
Mistakes are inevitable. However, what you learn from those mistakes helps build your knowledge and your character. Thank you.
So our 2021 Miss Congeniality is Samantha Warner. Second alternate is contestant number 6, Katie Quigg. Our first alternate is contestant number 7, Hannah Trotter. Our 2021 queen is going to be contestant number 3, Cassidy Oliver.
All right, so this is Canine Ozzy. He is 5 years old. He'll be 6 in November, and he is a dual-purpose patrol canine for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I've had him for a little over 5 years now. And in his capacity here at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, he's a dual-purpose patrol dog. So what that means for us is that in canine vernacular, or canine terminology, we talk about single-purpose or dual-purpose. And what it really goes off of is their specialties. Well, Ozzy's two specialties are narcotics, and he can smell a range of narcotics from crack, cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, and also marijuana. In addition to that, the dual aspect of it is he also is a patrol dog. So he does tracking, article searches, and tracking doesn't just have to necessarily be for someone who is wanted or evading law enforcement. Ozzy's been utilized to track juvenile age children, elderly geriatric populations who are endangered, and a few other sources as well. Ozzy also, like I said, is an apprehension dog, so there have been times where in the need for public safety, Ozzy has went in and had to take care of business as far as that goes to keep officers safe. But Ozzy lives with me, he works with me, he's a home dog just like anybody else during his off time, and when he works, he is a fully functioning member of the team, of the Wayne County Sheriff's team. So this right here is what we call a bite pillow, and what this does here is it allows him to bite. They love to bite things. It feels good for them. It helps them satiate that urge. So for him, it's a toy. And Ozzy will rotate, like we look for paychecks and things like that. Ozzy's toys or Ozzy's paychecks are tug toys, similar to this, or a tennis ball, some kind of ball that he wants to go after. So everything that he does for us, all of the things that we ask for him to do to keep us safe, both as police officers and as civilians, he does it all for this tug, a tennis ball, and a warm pet or scratch behind the ear. So he's pretty good dog, pretty low maintenance for us.
Reminder of the Conference Center parking lot.
we're hanging out here at the Wayne County 4-H Fair, and you know, we find whatever we can find. And we found a guy that was walking around with a snake and just needed to find out what the snake was doing here. And the snake's name, does the snake have a name?
Snake is called Loki.
Okay, probably works. Gene, tell us who you are. You're wearing a Cope Environmental.
I'm a volunteer at Cope Environmental Center. I'm just out here kind of getting the name out there and educating people about snakes, trying to get them, you know, over their fears. And
yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I actually get a few people out here that before wouldn't touch one. Actually will pet them.
Tell us about this, I would say little guy, but you know, for me, a little snake is something like,
yeah. So he is a California king snake. He's an albino, so you typically won't see this color in the wild, but these guys, they're great rodent control. They eat other venomous snakes, so they're immune to venom, so coral snakes and copperheads and rattlesnakes. He's probably about 7 or 8 years old, and this is about as big as he's gonna get.
Where did you find him or pick him up or whatever it is that you did to get him?
He was actually gifted to me by the old ED from Cope. I'd been out there working with them for a while, and she knew I'd been looking for another snake, and she found him and got him for me to help use in programs and stuff.
Nice.